Okay, let's start.
Yeah, okay. So the recording is started. Let's see. So in yesterday's session, so somehow we have discussed about the fixed bid end-to-end process and also the T&M end-to-end process. In the T&M end-to-end process, how invoicing is generated based on the employee timesheets, how revenue is recognized based on this. In fixed bid project, how invoicing and the revenue is generated based on the events and what are the bill plans and the revenue plans which we have associated at the contract level towards this invoice generation and the revenue generation. Okay, so these things we have discussed, and also in the AR module. So after you interface the customer invoice to the account receivables module, so it will be placed in the interface table. So later I can run this import auto invoice program to pull the data from the interface tables into the base tables. And later I can see the customer invoice through the managed transactions. And in order to access this, and we need certain rules required, and also we need the data access, and also we need the AR configuration is required. Okay, these things already we have discussed in the last two sessions. Particularly when I go for this in today's session, we are going to talk about the different billing concept, like so, which is similar to the fixed bid projects or the T&M contracts. So this is another billing, like the percent complete billing, percent complete billing. Okay, so we have a one project, and based on the terms and conditions which we have agreed with a customer or a client, and finally we are going to bill a customer. Okay, now I had an agreement with a contract. I had an agreement or a contract with a customer saying that so out of 100%, when you finish the 30% of my project, then you can send an invoice to me, then so that I will make the payment. The next 50% is finished, then you can send an invoice to me, then I'll make the payment. Okay. Next 20%, you can, as long as you finish the project, and the remaining 20%, I can make the payment. Okay. So this is how my contract or agreement with a client or a customer. If that is the case, so I can start my project, and as soon as 30% of my project is completed, then I'm eligible to bill the customer. I'm eligible to bill the customer. That means somewhere I have to enter 20% of my project is completed, or 30% of my project is completed, or 50% of my project is completed. Because based on this only, based on the percentage which you enter in the system in the cloud application, so our system will generate the invoice based on this percent complete which you are mentioning in the system. And where to go and the way to mention this physical percentage, so that will discuss, okay. So when it comes to this percent complete billing, totally totally it can be possible in the three ways. Okay, one is manual, and second one is the efforts, and third one is the cost. Okay, if I go with the first one, what happens is the project manager has to enter the physical percentage somewhere in the system, like a 20% is completed, 30% is completed, or 40% is completed. That the project manager can enter manually in the system. Okay, based on that, the subsequent revenue and invoice will go smooth. Okay, in the next two cases, based on the efforts, that means employee time sheets, based on the cost, nothing but usage cost or the miscellaneous cost, all supplier invoices, which we are pulling into the PPM, etc., etc. So these are all comes under the cost. Efforts, nothing but always the timesheets only. Okay, so how you wanted to calculate the physical percentage of your project. Either manually you are entering the physical percentage of your project, like 20% is completed or 30% is completed. Otherwise, simply you are expecting to calculate this physical percentage of the project automatically by the system. Is it based on the employee timesheets? Nothing but an efforts. or based on the project cost, based on the project cost. In these two cases, effort or cost, what happens is the system will calculate the physical percentage automatically by the system. System will calculate the physical percent automatically when I go with the effort or cost. But when I go with the first case, we have to enter the physical percentage completion manually in the system. In the remaining two cases, the system will calculate automatically. One is based on the employee time sheets, nothing but employee efforts. Another one is based on the project specific cost. Employee efforts also the project cost only, but that is a generic word. Okay, so particularly if there is a one project, a majority of the cases, if there is one software project, majority of the cases, the cost is from the through the OTL only, because they are entering the timesheet in the OTL, and those timesheets will be pulling into the PPM for the cost calculations or something. So later, whatever the timesheets they have entered, they have entered against a project based on these efforts only, the system will calculate the physical percentage completion. Otherwise, for my project, I don't have a time sheet. So I have a cost like the supplier invoices, we are pulling requisitions of PO, so supplier invoices, so PO receipts, or miscellaneous cost, or usage cost, or any other cost for a project is available. Based on this type of cost, so the system will generate the physical percentage completion. Okay, so this is what at the high level picture of these are the three methods of the percentage completion based billing. Okay, here I have written very clearly. So if it is a manual, the project manager has to enter how much percentage of the project is completed. Based on that, invoice will get generated. If it is effort, the system will calculate the physical percentage of the project based on the efforts, nothing but based on the timesheets. Then if it is a cost, then it will calculate based on the cost. Okay. Now, if I go with the process, okay, already we know the process very well. We know how to create a contract. We know how to activate the contract. We know how to create a customer contract by mapping with a project, bill plans, or revenue plans, or etc. etc. Okay, here if I go with if I go with the fixed bid end-to-end project, while creation of the contract, we have created a bill plans and the revenue plans. That time we have used the amount based as a invoice method classification. Now, when I go with the T&M, we have used while creation of the contract, we have used rate based and as incurred or the bill plans and the revenue plans while creation of the T&M contract. Now, when I go with this particular one, I'm creating the same contract for the percent complete billing, but I wanted to map, I wanted to define the bill plans and the revenue plans. While defining the bill plans and the revenue plans, I can use the invoice method classifications and the revenue method classification as a percent complete, See, when I go with this, and here we had a discussion very clearly. Okay, so let's say these are the invoice methods. Already we have seen these two. Okay, now I'm going to see this one, percent complete. This is for the fixed bid projects, and this is for the T&M contracts, and this is for the physical percentage. When it comes to the revenue methods, we have used this one, and we have used instead of this, we have already used one of these two, as billed or as incurred. There is a small difference between these two. Okay, now I wanted to go with a percentage complete billing. So I wanted to use this percent complete as a invoice method classification and a percent complete as a revenue method classification. That is what the difference we need to find here. Otherwise, so we all said how to create a project. So as soon as you create a project and create a contract, what happens? And you come to this portion. Previously, we have created an event in this place. Previously, we have created a timesheets in this place. Now, this is based on the project progress, the project completion, percentage of the completion. If that is the case, And we have a three methods: cost, effort, or manual. And we are preferring this manual way of manual way of generating the invoice based on the physical percentage. Okay. Now for this, what are the prerequisites? That means these are the prerequisites, and we'll discuss. So once this portion is completed, what happens? So obviously we know the process. We know this process very well, and also we know this process very well. Only the thing is, while creation of a contract, there is a variation for the bill plans and the revenue plans. Also, there is a variation in this particular area. Okay, here we wanted to enter the physical percentage completion manually. Okay, so now I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to create one contract project. Next, I'll jump into the contract and I'll create one more contract by mapping with this particular project. Okay. Now I'll go here. I'll go and I'll open our instance. Okay. Because of the project is required to map with a contract, initially I wanted to create a project. That too, it is a contract project only. Okay. The billing is always applicable for the contract projects. That is the reason I wanted to create a project based on one contract specific template. Okay. T comma, this is what the template. And here the project name is the Reliance, Reliance support project, and the project number is 600,704. Okay, it is starting on January 1st, 2024, ending on December 31st, 2024. It's a 1-year project. Now we'll change the dates as well, task dates as well, 12/31/24 and 12/31/24. Let me save this, and if I go this, manage project settings, I'm checking the project status. Okay, the project status is active, so that it will be eligible to map with a contract. Okay. So this portion is done. This project is created. Okay. The project is created. Now, I wanted to go ahead with see, while creation of a contract here, what happens is the prerequisite which I have given as a project plan type. Okay. Previously, when I go with a fixed bid, the prerequisites I have given as a project types and the project templates. Now, when I go with the T&M also, I have given the same two project types and templates. The same two are applicable for the percent complete billing, but specifically I have given the prerequisite as a project plan type. That means for percentage complete billing, what happens is we need to do some modifications at the project plan type level. But already we have created a contract project with a previous project plan type only. Okay. Now I wanted to go with this project plan type setup, and I wanted to create a different project plan type, especially that I can use it for the percent complete billing. I'll show you. What is the reason why we are creating the project plan type differently only for this particular billing? Because the invoice will get generated or so once you do the planning, what happens is we wanted to do something. I'll show you. Okay, let me go to the system. Let me go to the system, and now we'll go with a project plan type, project financial management. Then I'll go with the project control. and manage a project plan types. Okay. So far, maybe I'm using this for my project. I'm using this for my project. Let me check whether I can use this one or any other one I can use for my project. Okay, our project is a 600,704, right? 600,704. Let me open this. Now, if I go with the planning, here I can able to see the project plan type of which I have used as a USA PPT. PPT nothing but a project plan type. So whatever the project plan type which I am going to create now, that one I am going to replace. That one, the new project plan type I am going to replace here. Because our percent complete billing is based on this project plan type only. Okay. Now let me go here. Let me go here. See, percent complete the project plan type, and this is what we are going to use starting from the January 1st, 2024. It is applicable. I don't want to go with this option, and I don't want to go with this option. And the set assignments starting from the day one, we are using the reference set as the US1 BU set, US1 BU set. Okay, the planning settings. Okay, I am enabling this, and we are enabling this, and we wanted to enable the calendar type, which calendar we are using for my planning. Okay, either accounting calendar or project accounting calendar. The task settings, I'm enabling this. Already we had a lengthy discussion on the project plan type. Okay, long back, and I don't want to fill this, and also I don't want to fill this, and the progress settings. This is very important. See, our invoice, when it comes to the percent complete billing, invoice will get generated based on the project progress, based on the project progress. Okay, how progress will be calculated for a system? So if you do the budget based on the project planning, if you do the budget based on the project planning, the system will calculate the progress. System will calculate the progress. Okay. See, physical percent complete calculation method. If I expand it, I can see three options. Whatever the options I could say here, manually effort to cost, and these are the feasible ways of calculating the physical percentage completion. Okay, either manually or based on the employee timesheets or based on the project specific cost, but we have chosen the completion calculation method as a manually. That means somewhere I have to enter 20% or 30% or 50% or something. Okay, you forget about this physical primary physical percent complete basis. The both are I'm giving manually. I don't want to generate a forecast based on this project plan type, and I don't want to go with this etc calculations or EAC calculations. Now when it comes to the budget generation options, this progress settings, it's a completely talk about the percent complete billing only in the project plan type. Now, when it goes to the budget generation options, what happens? Generate budget version when setting a baseline for your project plan. That means if there is a project, I wanted to do the plan. I wanted to do my planning. That means my project is having a different task. For each task, I can assign the resource. For each resource, I'm planning like 100 hours or 200 hours. Or for each non-labor resource, I'm planning $1 lakh or $2 lakh. This is how I can plan. After you plan your project, so after you plan your project, what happens is you need to approve your project plan. Okay, at the time of approving your project plan, approving nothing but a baselining. Baseline is nothing but a approve, approve is nothing but a baseline. You go with a project and you segregate the task. For the task, you assign the resources. For each resource, either labor or non-labor, you can plan your project like 100 hours or $1 lakh or $2 lakh, etc., etc. That way, you can plan. End of the day, once your planning is done, what happens is you need to approve this project plan, or you need to baseline this project plan. Okay, so the moment when it is a baseline, your project plan, what happens? When this particular checkbox is enabled, okay, once you do the project plan, at the time of baselining your project plan, the system will generate the budget. How much you have planned your project with the same amounts only, the system will generate the budget. Okay, next. So when you approve a project plan, or when you baseline your project plan, what happens is the system is generating the budget. For the generation of a budget, so what is the prerequisite? Again, the financial plan type is the prerequisite. Again, the financial plan type is the prerequisite. Okay. And this financial plan type we are going to give here. Okay. So for us, we are considering this cost and the revenue budget. Okay. So automatically designate budget version as a baseline. Initially, when budget is created based on the project plan approval, so whether you wanted to see the budgets as with a baseline status, or any other status you are expecting to see. If you wanted to see your budget as a baseline, nothing, but if you wanted to see your budget as approved, then we have to enable this. Otherwise, once a budget is created, you have to submit it. You have to submit the budget, so that it will the notification will go to the someone for getting the approval. Otherwise, if approvals are not implemented as soon as you submitted, then system itself will approve the budget, etc., etc. Okay, so this is what the setup we are doing here. So this is what the project plan type. Now I'll go to my project. I'll replace. This is what my project. I went for the planning, and this is what the previous project plan type. I can replace. You must delete all the tasks from the project plan before replacing the project plan. What the system is saying, you have created two different tasks for this project based on this project plan type. Until unless you remove those two tasks, you cannot replace this, or you cannot delete this project plan type. That is the reason. Now I can go to the task structure, and I can delete this. I can what I can do here is what I can do here is create a task, manage a task, and upload amount. So okay, there is a cross mark, right? You just click on the cross mark. Okay, one task is deleted, and you go with the other task. You can delete this. Okay, let me click on the save. Now you can go to the settings, and you try to replace the new the project plan type with a existing plan type. The existing plan type is this. I wanted to replace. Now I don't get any error. Okay. So what is the one? This is the new one which I created, right? This financial plan type, particularly we have designed for the project planning and getting approved, and based on this approval, the budget wanted to generate. Okay, based on this project plan type only, we are generating the customer invoice. Okay, this financial plan type will allow you to enter somewhere in the system. This financial plan type will allow you to enter the physical percentage of completion, because in the financial plan type itself, I have given the physical percentage calculation method as a manual. Because of this option, the system will allow you to enter the physical percentage of your project manually. Okay. So that is the reason this is important for us now. Now, okay, we have replaced it, right? We have replaced it. And let me go with the done. Now what happens? Now what happens here? What happens here is let me go with the where is the project 60704, right? Let me open this. I wanted to plan my project now. I wanted to plan
Sir,
my project.
we can see blank screen.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
Fayaz is sharing his screen.
screen share is missing, sir, actually.
Yeah,
Hi, so I couldn't even
yeah.
see the screen. Yeah, now I can see the screen.
Okay. Okay. So we have created a project. Okay. We have modified the new project plan type with an existing one. Now what I should do is I wanted to do the planning. Okay. How can I do the planning? Go with this project plan. And this project, it does not have any task. Let me go and let me assign the task. This is comes under as part of the the design phase. This is one thing, and the other thing is the implementation. So one second. This is like a non-billable, and this is like a billable. Okay. So now let me save it. These are the two different tasks, starting here and ending here. And for this particular task, I wanted to assign the resources. This column is talking about the resources. Let me click on the plus. Okay. If I open this, maybe for example, for all the labors, I'm planning 1,000 hours. Okay. Sometimes, what happens, there is the other one which we wanted to add, other than the labor, we are using some expenses. For all the expenses, I spent 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Okay. Let me click on the save and close. Okay. See, there is an error in the mapping. Maybe we got the error at the labor only because for the labors, let me see the errors. Let me see the errors. So a raw cost rate was not found for the planning transaction. If I expand this, no resource class raw cost schedule is assigned to a plan version. Assign a resource class raw cost rate schedule in the planning options. Where are the planning options? In the project plan type only. Okay, and refresh the rates for the planning transactions. Refresh the rates on the planning transactions. What happens with this, the second one? The system expenses, the application cannot find a costing rule for the non-labor transaction. Okay. So otherwise, we'll do one thing. Okay. We'll go with the financial resource. Okay. So for the financial resource, what I'm doing here is, let me remove first. It will take more time to resolve these issues. So that is the reason we are going to add the financial resource here. Okay, how much you planned? 2 lakhs you planned. Okay, save and close. And for the second one also you planned for the financial resource only. financial resource only. For this also, I am planning 4 lakhs. Okay. 4 lakhs, 4 lakhs. Okay. Total, the 2 lakhs we have planned for the task number 1 and the 4 lakhs I have planned for task number 2. So finally, total, I have planned this project as a 6 lakhs. Okay, that is what I did. That is what I did. So my planning is done. My planning is done. As soon as you completed your planning, what happens is when I go to this particular actions tab, there is an option called set a baseline. Set a baseline. That means now I am approving this particular project plan. Now I am approving this particular project plan. What happens? So here in the budget generation options, there is an option generate budget version when setting baseline for a project plan. This is what my project plan. Now I am doing the baseline. That means the moment when you do the baseline of your project plan, so according to the project plan type which you have mapped for this project, the budget will get generated automatically. That is what the option we have given, right? We have enabled generate budget version when setting a baseline for the project plan. Now, this is what my project plan. I wanted to go and I wanted to do the baseline for all the tasks. See, automatically generate budget using this particular financial plan type. Automatically designate budget as a baseline. When you wanted to see your budget status as a baseline or approved, then I can able to enable this. Otherwise, simply I can submit my budget and I can the system will approve the budget. Okay. So if this is the case, if I enable this, what happens? Let's see. A baseline was set for the project plan and a budget version was generated. However, a baseline budget version was not created. That means the budget is created based on this project plan. Okay. But the budget is not baselined. That means the budget is not approved, even though we enabled automatic budget baseline. Okay. Because the error exists in the current working budget version generated from the project plan. You must correct the errors before manually creating a baseline budget version. Okay. Now let me go with the budget. How can I go with the budget? Manage project budget. See, the cost budget is the cost budget. That means 2 lakhs I have planned for the task number 1 and 4 lakhs I have planned for the task number 2. Total cost budget is the 6 lakhs. Okay. What is the error? So a revenue rate or markup percentage was not found for the planning. My battery is too low. Okay. So the reason behind this is if the project does not have a contract association or if multiple contract associations exist for this project or the task, then the calculation logic always uses a resource class rate schedule to determine the revenue rates or markup percentages. Assign a resource class a rate schedule in the planning options for the version or refresh the rates for the planning transactions. That means what the system is saying is this particular project is still not associated with any contract. Okay, that is the reason it is a failing here. Okay. Now let me go to the contract. I'll create the contract now. As per this, we wanted to create this particular contract now and go with a contract management. Quickly, we'll create a contract and go to the task list and create a contract. And our business unit is the USA business unit. and the type is a USA contract type, and contract number is the same as like a project number 600,704, and my customer is the Reliance, and this particular contract is started on the January 1st and is going to wind up ending on the December 31st. Okay, the contract name is something like a Reliance, the support project. Okay, you go to the lines, and you can create a contract line, and this is for the support. Okay, this is for the line we are associating, and the line amount is 10 lakhs. Line amount is 10 lakhs, and you can populate some the SIT2 account and the SIT2 site, etc., etc. Okay, save it. You go with the associated projects. And let me add my project here. What is the project number? 600,704. This is what the project, right? Now, here I am giving the funding amount. Here I am giving the funding amount as the total worth is 10 lakhs, right? I am giving the funding as 5 lakhs. Okay, let me click on the save. Now, when I go to the billing tab, I wanted to map the bill plans and the revenue plans. When I go here, nothing I can see because the bill plans and the revenue plans, the definition is still not completed. Okay, so for the definition, we'll go with the billing. Okay, so we'll give the contract organization as some California or something. Okay, now I'll go with a bill plan. Okay, let me go with a plus. Let me go with a plus. This is PC, nothing but a percent complete. Okay, bill plan. Now here you can go with the percent complete. What is the invoice method classification is associated with this particular method name? This method name can be anything, but for this method, the invoice method classification is a percent completed. This is what the important here is. Billing cycle is immediately, and bill to site is this, and the payment terms also in immediate basis, and the invoice formats we are giving here. Okay, let me go with the save and close. The bill plan is done. Now I wanted to go with a revenue plan. PC revenue plan, and here also I wanted to go with the percent complete. Save and close. Now the bill plan and the revenue plan definitions are done. Now if I go to the lines, what happens in the billing tab? We wanted to associate our bill plans and the revenue plans. See, this is what we have created, and the revenue plan also. The similar way we wanted to map the revenue plan at the contract level. Okay, let me save it. Now I'll go and I'll do the validation. The system will check whether we have created this contract in a proper way or not. Any errors are existed or not. Any warnings are existed or not. No errors or no warnings. Now simply I wanted to go with a submit. When I submitted this particular contract, as per the configuration in the system, the notification went for the Kylie. From the Kylie login, we have to approve this particular contract. Okay, let me copy this URL. You go to the different browser and log in with the Kylie and check whether you get a notification or not. Kylie. So if I go to the bill notification, this is what my contract is, and I wanted to approve it. My contract is approved. We'll go with the contract and we'll check the contract. Manage contracts. What is the contract number? This is where it is. See, now my contract is with the active status. Now my contract is with the active status. Okay. Now, if I go to the project, if I go to the project now, if I go to the project, okay, where is it? 600,704. And now, what happens? I'll go with the budget. Okay, you refresh. You open this. Revenue also we are entering here. And for this 4 lakhs, 4 lakhs is the revenue budget. And for the second one, it's like 4 lakhs, and here the revenue is 6 lakhs. Okay. Create a baseline. Manually, we are baselining this. Okay. You cannot set a baseline to financial plan version because exceptions occurred while saving the changes. What is the error? A revenue markup, a revenue rate or markup percentage was not found for this planning transaction because no resource class rate schedule is assigned to the plan version. If I expand this, assign a resource class rate schedule in the planning options for the version and refresh the rates for the planning transaction. Okay. Let me go here. So project control, project plan types. Which one is ours? This one. Any planning options here? So you have here business units, and this is where it is. This is where it is. Okay. Let me try this way. Which is the project, and this is the project. A resource rate schedule in the planning options for the version or refresh the rates, right? Now, refresh the rates, refresh the rates. What happens? What is the plan type? Cost manual. Okay, okay. Now, in the contract level, we'll check one thing. No? We'll check one thing. So, in the contract level, if I open the contract, what happens is I wanted to do the track completion here. Okay. See, what happens is I told you very clearly, somewhere we have to enter the physical percentage manually, correct? This is where it is. This is where it is. Okay. Your funding amount, your contract line amount is 10 lakhs. Out of 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs is funded against this particular project. Okay. Then how much percentage is completed? Let's say I am entering the 10%. I am entering the 10%. Okay. So let me save this. I'll go and I'll try to generate the invoice. So let's see what happens. Whether it is linking with the budget or not, that is what I wanted to show you here. Generate invoice, USA, and the contract is this. Okay, let me see this. Now you can expand the process monitor and check. Okay, now let me go with the manage invoices. Okay, what is the contract? 600,704. Search. See, my invoice is generated. My invoice is generated. Okay. Now, see, what is the invoice amount here? 50,000. When I go to the contract, here, what happens? The problem is with the budget. That is a different story. But for us, our invoice is generated. When I go to the contract, 600,704, 600,704, 600,704. Just listen carefully. This is what the logic is here. See, the line amount is 10 lakhs. The line amount is the 10 lakhs. And the funding amount is here, the funding amount is the 5 lakhs. Okay. But at the contract level, here in the track completion, I have given the 10%. Okay. That means, is it a 10% of 10 lakhs or 10% of 5 lakhs? That is what the question here is. Okay. Is it a 10% of 10 lakhs? Is it a 10% of 5 lakhs? If it is a 10% of 10 lakhs, obviously the invoice amount will be 1 lakh. Then if it is a 10% of 5 lakhs, the invoice amount will be 50,000. Okay. So which one the system will consider for the calculation? Okay. That is what it's a based on, so I'll show you. So in the bill plan, okay, if I go with the extension here, okay, here there is a column called a calculation level. Here there is a column called a calculation level. Let me do the amendments. I wanted to show you the list of values here. Okay, I'll go to the amend. Amend is nothing but after contract is created and we made it as an active. Still, I wanted to do some changes. The feasibility is to go with the amend. Okay. Once you do the changes, again you have to submit and you have to approve it. Okay. On what date you are giving the changes? You are doing the changes. On what date you are doing the changes? The date I have mentioned to here. Okay. Now I go with the billing. I go with the invoice plan. Now, if you see carefully here, here the calculation level we have seen as an associated projects. Normally, when I expand this calculation level, I can see two options. One is associated project and the second one is the contract line. So here, if we have given the calculation method as associated project, that means in the line level, how much is the funding amount? Here? Okay, based on this, the 10% will be calculated as an invoice amount. Instead of associated project at the bill plan, by any chance the calculation level is considered as a contract line. If that is the case, system will consider 10% of this 10 lakhs because the contract line amount is the 10 lakhs. In the bill plan, we have considered as a calculation level as the contract line. That is the reason 10% of this line amount will be calculated as an invoice amount. Instead of it, if the calculation level is associated project, that means the 10% of this funded amount will be calculated. Okay. Now, in the bill plan, for us, in this contract, in the bill plan, what is considered associated project? That means in the project level, the funding is 5 lakhs. So 10% of 5 lakhs is 50,000. For that same amount, the invoice is generated. Let me explain in detail. If you come down, see, the physical percent complete billing process manual. Okay, the prerequisite is the project plan type, and we can mention this option as a manual. Okay, if the calculation level at the bill plan is associated project, what happens? How the invoice amount will get calculated? My physical percentage completion is 10%. My contract line amount is 3 lakhs, and my funding is 2 lakhs. And my physical percentage is 10%. Now you tell me, based on this parameter, what is the invoice amount? Here the calculation level is associated project. That means at the project level, the funding is 2 lakhs. 10% of 2 lakhs, that means 20,000. So this is a customer invoice amount. In case the calculation level is a contract line, the same parameters. What is the contract line amount? 3 lakhs. 10%, that means 10% of 3 lakhs, that means invoice amount is 30,000. This is what the calculation here is. Okay, based on this parameter only, the calculation level at the bill plan, based on this parameter, so the system will decide, okay, whether to consider 10% of the contract line amount or funding amount, the project funding amount. Okay, any questions here? Fayaz, Rangana, Veera?
No, no. No, sir.
Okay. Now, so because of our contract, level, we have in the calculation level, we have used the associated project. That is the reason our invoice is calculated 10% of 5 lakhs. That means 50,000. Okay. Now, this one I can submit. Later, this one I can approve it. Later, this one I can release it. Now I can mention like ERINV underscore 005 Okay. This is a duplicated. Let me give another one. Okay. Now it is released and we wanted to transfer. You keep on search and so that I can see the status as a transferred. Now I wanted to change this calculation level to contract line and I'll enter the physical percentage completion as a 20% now. Okay, we'll see. Now the invoice is transferred. Now I go to the contract here. I go to the contract. Okay. And now we are in the amend phase only. Now you go to the billing. You open this. Okay. It is freezed, actually it should open. It is freezed, not sure why it is freezed here. Okay, do something. Let me close this and reopen. Let me try. Manage contracts and 600,704. So now it is under the amendments. Let me go here. Let me open this. No. Let me edit this. No. Okay. What I can do is I'll do one thing for you. I'll create another bill plan here. PC bill plan 1. Method is the PC. The percentage complete is the method. Okay. Why it is considering by default the associated project? Okay. There is some miracle here. Now I'll go with this. Yeah, now you can see. Let me go with the previous one. We'll see the previous one. Previous one, it's already freezed. You don't worry about this. You open the second one. Now, if I expand this, I can see two options. One is a contract line and the second one is the associated project. Already you know, because of already we have given this calculation level as associated project and we have entered the percentage completion as a 10% and the funding level is of 5 lakhs. 10% of 5 lakhs is in our invoice amount is calculated as a 50,000. Okay. Now this time I am giving this calculation level as the contract line. I am saving this. Okay. The definition is done. But this one I have to associate at the bill plan level, right? I mean to say at the contract line level. Previously, we have assigned the old one. Okay, now I wanted to assign the new one. Because of for the old one, I did not do any modifications. So that is the reason. System is not allowed. That is the reason I created a new bill plan and assigned a new bill plan. Again, you go with the submit. Again, you go with the submit. See, you must specify the same calculation level for the assigned percent complete invoicing and revenue billing extensions and validate the contract again. So when a contract line is associated with a percent complete bill plan and the percent complete revenue plan, the calculation levels of assigned percent complete invoice and the percent complete revenue billing extensions must be identical. This ensures that the percentage complete values entered for either the contract line or associated projects of the contract line can be used for both invoicing and revenue, both invoicing and revenue. Okay. Now what I'll do here is I'll go with the billing. I'll go with the billing. I'll try to change this billing extension, and here also I can change it to the contract level, and I'll do the validation. Now there are no errors and there are no warnings. At the revenue plan level, at the bill plan level, the calculation method, it must be a unique. Either you can go with the associated projects in both cases or contract line also in both cases you can use. But you cannot use contract line at the revenue plan and the associated project at the bill plan, etc. Okay. Submit. Again, I'll go with the Kylie login for getting the approval. The Kylie login, I am getting the approval here. Let me check. Maybe this was the old notification. Okay. Let me check the contract, whether it is activated or not. 600,704. Still it is under the amendment only. Now you can go with you can search. Yeah, now it is activated. Okay. Let me open this. Okay. Where do I enter the fiscal percentage calculation method? When I go to the actions within the contract, there is a track completion. If you see carefully, previously we have entered the 10% here. Because of the calculation level is a project associated project. That is the reason I have entered the 10% here. But the calculation level, I changed it to the contract line. And this is a line talking about the contract line. The contract, the calculation level is line now. Now the fiscal percentage I am giving as a 10%. Now you can go ahead and you can generate the invoicing. You can generate the invoicing now. Generate invoice. Contract is 600,704. Submit. Go to manage invoices and you keep on search. Let me see. It is very awesome because here also the system has created the invoicing amount is for 50,000 only. Why? Our expectation is to calculate the our calculation is based on the contract line, and the contract line is at 10 lakhs. 10% of the 10 lakhs is 1 lakh. But why system is calculated 50,000? So let me delete this. I can go to the contract. Let me check. 600,704 billing and bill plan 1 and the contract line we have given and the revenue plan contract line we have given. And if I go with the track completion in the contractor line level, I gave 20%. I gave 20%. Okay. %. I will go under generate the NMS. Mm, 704. Why there is no submit button here? Six hundred 704. See, now it is 1,50,000. 1,50,000. What is the logic behind this? Previously, it is calculated as a 50 only. Now it is 150. 150. Previously, we have given only 10%, right? Now we have given 20%. Okay. 20% of 10 lakhs is 2 lakhs. Okay. But the invoice is already generated for 50,000. Okay. That means still we have only 9 lakh 50,000 is available. 9 lakhs. Let me try with something here. 9 lakh 50,000. That means 9 lakh 50,000, which is multiplied with 1,000 divided by 20%. Okay. So if that is the case, 1 lakh 90,000 will get, then how should I get this? 1 lakh 50,000. 1 lakh 50,000.
So it might be a 20%. Out of the 20%, already transferred invoice has deducted.
Maybe that might be the reason.
20% you have given, that should be 2 lakhs. And you have already transferred 50,000 invoice earlier.
We'll do one thing, Payas. This time we'll give the physical percentage track completion as 30%. Okay. The expected one, as per your logic, the expected one is 2,50,000, correct?
2 lakhs. 2 lakhs should come. Maybe if you can raise one more invoice, we can understand.
No. What happens is we have deleted that one. Okay. I'm giving the 30%. Normally for 30%, I should get 3 lakhs.
3 lakhs.
But already we have generated invoice for 50. So 50 is deducted with the 3 lakhs. The expectation is
2.5 lakhs. 2 lakhs.
Your logic.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Generate invoices. Very rare requirements on this percent completion. If the system shows 2,50,000, then your logic is correct. Yeah. Payas, you are right, Payas.
So that means it is accumulating the total invoice values to the percentages you have given.
Yes, correct. Okay. So that is deducting already processed invoices amount. Okay, 2,50,000. Now we can submit it and we can approve it, and later we can release it, and I can provide the invoicing number, and now I can transfer. Okay. What happens? The immediate next step is I can go to the, now our invoices data is in the AR interface tables. Now I wanted to bring the data into the base tables by running the auto invoice import program. See, normally I wanted to go to the receivables module now. I wanted to check whether the invoices are showing or not. Manage transactions. The transaction source is the contract invoices, and invoice. Okay, let me check this way. So resource schedule process. Now I don't see the transaction date is the today's date only, right? That too, our business unit is the USA business unit. I don't see any PPM customer invoices which are raised in a today's date. Okay. Now, what happens is we are bringing the data to the base tables from the interface tables in the AR. For that, we are running a program. Import auto invoice. Import auto invoice. It must be contract invoices, not contract internal invoices. We are running this program only for one customer, that is the Reliance. Submit. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Now you keep on search. Once this program is generated, once this program has run successfully, and I can able to see the records here. Yeah, one is for the 50,000, another one is for the 2,50,000, and we'll do the accounting for it. We'll do the accounting for it. Okay, accounting is completed. For the second one also, you perform the accounting. Okay, it's done. Now we'll go with the PPM side and we'll update the statuses from the transfer to the accepted. Okay, for that you go with the contract management. Contract management invoices. And if I go with the released invoices here, I can see these two are transferred, right? 50,000, 2,50,000. Now I'll go with this one. That confirm invoice acceptance. Submit. Okay. See, these two invoices also change it to the accepted status. So that means we should know like the complete AR process is done for these two invoices. Okay. This portion is completed. This portion is completely done. This portion. Okay. Now we'll jump into this portion. Very simple. We'll generate the invoice and transfer to the GL. Okay. So for that, we'll go with the contract management and go with the revenue. Very interesting for how much amount the revenue is going to generate now. Generate revenue. Is it for 50,000 for one record and 2 lakhs of 50,000 is another record? Otherwise, for 3 lakhs, the system will create only one revenue. It is generating. Meanwhile, we'll go with the revenue distributions to check whether revenue is generated or not. Okay, and this is some March 2024 period. And the contract is 600,704. Can you search now? See, one revenue is generated with 3 lakhs total. But only for our testing purpose, we have modified the physical percentage, the calculation methods like a contract line or associated project. Okay, finally, when I go to the revenue will be generated for the total amount like the 3 lakhs. But invoicing is 2 records. So one is for the 50,000, another one is for the 2,50,000. Okay. But anyhow, we are getting some issues on the that means when you generate the revenue at the revenue plan level, what is the calculation level is considered like now the calculation level is a contract line. Okay, in the contract line we have a 10 lakhs. Okay, 30% of a 10 lakhs, obviously 3 lakhs only. That is the reason the system will calculate the revenue for the 3 lakhs. We got the, maybe we will get the error because of the SLA issues here. This is the expected one. Okay. So any questions? This is a complete, the physical percentage, the end-to-end process. Veera, any questions? Sorry, any questions? Fayaz?
No.
Venkat?
No, sir, no.
Where is Deepak, Venkat?
I think Deepak, for Deepak, they told they don't do any marketing, so
Okay.
he was learning some other course, sir. That's the reason he was not attending the classes from past 3-4 days.
Okay. No,
So he's not, his age is not sufficient for these roles. So
okay, that's better. So, if you don't have any other questions, then we'll wind up.